despite this being the Real Talk tag, we're actually just going to go ahead and ignore this sunburn situation that I've got going on. I didn't put enough sun cream on the other day when I was outside and I'm very, very red. So I wanted to do the Booktube Real Talk tag because everyone else is doing it. No one has tagged me. Does anyone tag anyone in these things anymore? There are 7 questions. It's quite an interesting tag, I think. So let's get started. First question is, what is something nobody told you before you started your channel? Okay, so I started my channel when Booktube was still like minuscule. There were maybe 5 other channels out there. That was back in September 2010. So I've been doing this for 9 years now, which is kind of mad. So really I didn't have anyone to tell me anything in the first place, so nobody told me anything. What would have been helpful is someone telling me, you know, how to edit and I guess how like the logistics of YouTube work, because I still struggle with like the algorithm and things like that. Having someone tell me about all that kind of stuff sooner, like the description words and the tags and things, keywords, would have been really useful. But in terms of people telling me how welcoming the community was or like how big the community was and stuff like that, they didn't really have much to say because again, I was like one of maybe a dozen channels at that point. I have seen a lot of people say that no one told them that like they don't have to do massive amounts of book hauls every month and they don't need to spend tons of money on books to start a channel, but that wasn't really true in the beginning because book hauls were definitely how people got views back in this day. I would say now more people are getting views from more creative content, but book hauls back in the day drew so many people to your channels, especially around events like BEA. The second question is, what is your opinion on typical Booktube content like hauls, wrap-ups, TBRs, etc.? And I really enjoy them. I enjoy watching them every month. I do have a habit of adding them to my watch later list at the beginning of every month because there are so many coming out and then I can't keep up with them all, so they get left behind. And then when I'm going through my watch later list a few months later, like this month for example, I've still got TBRs and wrap-ups from February, and so I'll probably just get rid of those because they're not really important anymore. But to be honest, I really enjoy watching them. I find that wrap-ups really motivate me to get stuff done. If I see that someone else has read 15 books for example and loved all of them, then I'll be like, well, I'm gonna have to read 15 books this month. Or if I see TBRs, I'm like, well, maybe I could do a buddy read with this person, because I'm really into buddy reading and it really motivates me again to actually read something. I'm not such a massive fan of hauls personally, but I don't see anything wrong with doing them. I don't buy as many books as I used to because I don't really feel the pressure or need to anymore. I utilise my library a lot more, and I also have like 300 books of my own to read, so I'm focusing on that. And then also like I get review copies, so I have no need to go ahead and buy that many each month. But if you want to, then go ahead and spend your money the way that you want. I don't really care. I will watch the book hauls if they're from my friends or from YouTubers that like I particularly love, but I'm definitely a lot more picky when watching book hauls than I am when I watch wrap-ups and TBRs, because I find that wrap-ups and TBRs are a lot more chatty and personal, in my opinion. Question 3 is, what is an assumption that you had about Booktube before you joined? Again, I started really early. I'm not entirely sure if I had any assumptions. I think I did assume that I would make a lot more friends early on than I did. I assumed that the community, the older lot in the community, would be around for a lot longer than they were. Not many people have stuck around due to like personal stuff, you know, moving on from a hobby. I thought we'd all be this like massive Booktube group forever. I assumed Booktube would maybe like stay a closer knit community than it maybe has, whereas now since it's grown, Booktube has like formed its own like pockets and groups and stuff, which is fine. I didn't realise it was going to do that. Question 4 is, what is something that you've done to help grow your audience? Everyone has answered the same thing with this one. Engagement is like the most important thing for growing your audience. If you comment on other people's channels and talk to them on Twitter and reply to your own comments, then you're going to get people coming to your channel. One thing that did help me in the beginning was giveaways. I wouldn't recommend doing that necessarily, because if you do a giveaway on Twitter and you tell people to follow your channel, then you'll get a lot of subscribers but not enough views, because people will be subscribing just to get something for free. They're not going to be necessarily following your content or becoming like a true subscriber. So you might not get views that way, but you'll certainly get subscribers. But I do also find that having the retweets from one of those Twitter giveaways can help people find you. So it's a mixed bag really. I personally wouldn't do it anymore, but it was a little bit effective back in the day, just because you get more people seeing your channel. But I definitely think that engagement is the biggest thing for me. I also think that having social media to go along with your channel really helps, because I find a lot of my Booktube friends on Twitter and then follow them over to Booktube rather than the opposite way around. And I guess like just being open to making new friends. If you're very closed off and don't put yourself out there, then it's going to be quite difficult to grow your own channel. So I definitely think you need to make an effort to yeah, promote your channel, share things, make friends with people, talk to people. Try not to be too put off, because I know that it is slightly terrifying to try to make friends on Twitter, but I find that persistence really helps. There are definitely a few people who have responded to me a couple of times and I'm like, oh, I recognise you, and then I followed them back and we've gotten talking, and that's worked the other way around as well. Putting yourself out there, engagement, communication have all really helped grow my channel. I think another thing that really helps is obviously knowing what to do when it comes to the YouTube algorithm and like search optimization and stuff. I'm not going to go into all of that now, but obviously, you know, tags, description, titles, thumbnails, doing something more unique and creative can sometimes help, although it very much depends on what it is. Sometimes you don't get views if you do something like that's really out there that no one's going to search for. Question 5 is, what is a common mistake you see new booktubers making, or one that you made? The first common mistake I see kind of goes hand in hand with the previous question, and that is not putting yourself out there. I think a lot of people are quite shy when they first join the community. That sets them back. Another thing that I myself have done is take prolonged breaks. I think to successfully grow your channel continuously, you need to post continuously as well, either setting a strict schedule or posting at least a couple of times a week. My channel actually stopped growing for a year or so because I stopped posting. I've taken a couple of long-term breaks just because of personal reasons that I won't go into. I think the first one was a couple of years in and I didn't post for a few months, so obviously no one knew was finding my channel. When I first got my current job, in my current office, not my current job title, I made all of my videos private just because I didn't want anyone from work coming across them for various reasons, and so that obviously didn't help grow my channel. And then that was maybe a 2 or 3 year break. Yeah, that really destroyed my views and my subscriber count. Then when I started posting again, people saw me and started unsubscribing, presumably like either dead accounts or people who just weren't into booktube anymore or into me. So I would recommend not going on any breaks if you want to continue to do this for the foreseeable future, especially if you want to grow your channel. Of course, by all means take breaks if you need them. It's not going to help your subscriber growth or view count. I think another thing that I've noticed is people getting discouraged when they're not growing as fast as other channels are, maybe. Like if you look at my channel, I've got 3,300 subscribers and I'm still only getting 100 views on each video, and that's just because my subscribers were all like oldies who used to be subscribed to me, who are no longer part of the community. But I'm not really letting it discourage me, because I genuinely enjoy making these videos and talking to a camera and like to myself, and I enjoy the editing process. I enjoy interacting with the people who do comment on my videos, because there are like 10 people who do regularly comment and I'm friends with them. That's really good, and that's why I'm still on booktube. I just enjoy sharing my opinions about books, and the years that I wasn't doing it, there was like a gap in my life because I didn't really have anyone to talk to about the books anymore, even though I was still reading. So getting back into, wait, what actually was the question? Common mistake. Yeah, so breaks, not engaging, losing motivation. It's not really a mistake, but you know, it's not something you want to do. Maybe also like getting caught up in Twitter drama. There's been a lot over the last 9 years that I've been on Twitter. I try to ignore it because I don't have time for that. I'm 26 years old. I just can't be bothered. I think a lot of people do get caught up in the drama because it makes them feel included, and making videos about the drama can get you views, or tweets about it can get you retweets, favorites, likes, whatever. I don't really care for it anymore, and if I do see someone who's constantly going on about drama being like actual drama, not calling people out on their bullshit and offensive stuff, then I'll probably just mute them because I'm too old for that. And I hate saying that because it makes me sound like an old woman. I really am. I don't have the time in my day to worry about what other people are doing on the internet. Anyway, moving on, question number 6 is, what are your thoughts on working with publishers? Again, as someone who has been here for 9 years and has worked with publishers before, and who has seen people work with publishers for 9 years, I have no problem with it. It's absolutely okay with me. I only really watch booktubers whose opinions I trust or who I think are genuine, because I think otherwise there's no point. So if I were to see one of them do a review video based on a book that a publisher had sent them, which I've done myself, then I would trust that they're giving their honest opinion. Sponsorships are a tiny bit different, because I think people can get very carried away with sponsorships and start promoting things that they don't really care about just for the money. But I think, to be honest, I'd be able to tell. It's a shame when it happens, but yeah, I can just ignore it. I think if you're working with publishers or sponsorships, then absolutely go for it. Why not make money from booktube? I think it's a fantastic idea. You deserve the money, to be honest. And question number 7 is one that I don't think anyone has really taken seriously, and that is, do you think booktube is dying? And no, I don't think anyone else does. I remember a couple of years ago someone said, I remember that Booktube wasn't growing as fast as it used to and people were leaving Booktube. But that only happened, that was like a week's worth of Twitter drama, really. And then I think everyone just moved on. So no, I don't think Booktube's dying. I think it's growing. There's nothing more I can say on that that won't repeat something or everything that everyone else has already said. Okay, so that's the Booktube Real Talk tag. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I wasn't too rambly. I'm not used to doing these discussion videos anymore. Let me know if you have done this tag in the comments below, because I would love to watch your video and get a discussion going. Thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you in my next one. Bye!